Welcome and good evening, everyone, to the City of Victorville Planning Commission meeting for September 14th, 2022. I'll call this meeting to order and we'll start with roll call, please.
Commissioner Cook Askins.
Present.
Commissioner Messin.
Here.
Commissioner Thomas.
Present.
Vice Chair Harriman is absent. Chair Kurth.
Here.
We have quorum.
Next, if you'll please rise for our invocation and pledge of allegiance. That'll be through Commissioner Cook Askins and then Commissioner Thomas.
Right. Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. Thank you for the opportunity to meet this evening. We pray a special blessing upon the commission as we make decisions this evening, and also a special blessing among our city council and all of our residents of Victorville. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Place your right hand over your heart. Ready? Begin.
States of America, to the republic, that stands, nation, God, indivisible, with
That'll move us next into the general public comments portion of the meeting. This is the time that the public can speak to the commission on items that are not on tonight's agenda. The Planning Commission is interested in hearing from the public. Individuals from the public may speak on agenda items or on issues not posted on the agenda during this public comment section, providing those issues are within the subject matter jurisdiction of the Planning Commission. Individual speakers may address the Planning Commission once per public period comment and once per each public hearing item for up to 3 minutes. For those attending the meeting in person, and though not required, please complete a speaker card prior to the start of the meeting and place it in the clear speaker card box located on the dais counter. If you'd like to comment on a public hearing item, please submit a speaker's card before the public hearing item is announced. For those attending by Zoom, please click the raise your hand feature located on the Zoom screen. Whether attending this meeting in person or via Zoom, once comments are invited, the speaker will be called on by name and then recognized by the presiding officer. Audience members may not disrupt, disturb, or otherwise impede the orderly conduct of this meeting, and those who are due is subject to removal from the meeting pursuant to Code 403. Your understanding and cooperation is appreciated. So with that, I will go ahead and open up the public hearing for general comments. Do we have any comment cards tonight?
Yes, we do. Our first speaker is Joshua.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, commissioners, and city staff. Thank you for allowing me to speak today. My name is Joshua Nagar. I'm an attorney and I represent a chain of restaurants called the Derby Room, one of which is in the San Bernardino Fairgrounds here in your city. I also represent licensed commercial cannabis businesses, and I'm a director on the Cannabis Chamber of Commerce. My management team and we were discussing whether or not there could be a possibility of maybe locating a commercial cannabis retail near our restaurant on the San Bernardino Fairgrounds. We approached the Fair Board with that possibility, and they seem to be for it. They enjoy our team. We have a very strong track record of being good business people and whatnot, and they could use the revenue and the benefit. So that board has sort of voted to allow us to, forward that possibility to the city. And in doing so, I reached out to Mr. Metzler, the city manager, and he indicated that commercial cannabis retail is prohibited in the city of Victorville. So it'd be difficult for him to approve that use, even though it's on the county property, it still needs city approval. And he mentioned I should reach out to Mr. Webb, and that would be the most appropriate channel to go through the city planning channels to figure out whether this conversation can be had. I reached out to Mr. Webb, and he indicated I should reach out to the Planning Commission and possibly request to put on a presentation related to our proposal, our relationship with the fair, and what we basically are requesting to do. So that's what I'm doing here today. I'm here to request the possibility of a 5 to 10 minute PowerPoint presentation at your next Planning Commission, where I can better introduce myself, introduce my relationship with the fairgrounds, and what we request or are asking approval to do, and what the benefits are. And basically, that's what I'm here to do today. Just request 5 to 10 minutes of your time. Thank you. I don't see a clock anywhere, but
Got it. Thank you for that. Understand what you're saying. So it sounds like it sounds like, I'm sorry, what was your last name?
Joshua Nagar.
Mr. McNair is asking to have some time on the agenda, in a future agenda. As we all know, we're not able to discuss any of this as a commission during general comments because it's not agendized. So I think would the appropriate thing, Mr. Webb, to be poll the commission to see the interest of being able to discuss this at another meeting?
Can you turn your mic on?
Yeah, I'm not, go ahead.
So our city council policy manual talks about participants for council meetings. They can speak at public comment and ask the council about placing items on the agenda. So I believe that the commission could take a vote to agendize an item for a later date at his request. That's how council would handle it.
Okay, so I don't really see, in theory, I don't see a problem with someone in the public and a business asking to give the commission a presentation, which would need to be agendized, because at that point, I would also, if we did that, I would like to see, our staff's report on it as well, to refresh our mind exactly where we are at in Victorville with cannabis and our current ordinances and all that, which we just can't talk about tonight. So knowing that he would like to give us a presentation, is there anyone that would like to make a motion to allow that presentation to be at a future agenda meeting?
I would like to, I guess, hear more from staff before we agendize this, to get a little more background on our legal standings and so forth here.
Okay, that's an option. And is that something we can do without agendizing? We could request at a next meeting to get more information from staff and a reminder on exactly where we're at on the cannabis ordinances.
Sure, at a future meeting, we could definitely provide a recap of where we're at. Yes, we could do that. And then at that point, you could then entertain future discussion.
Okay. Okay, I'll ask one more time. Is there anyone, any commission member that would like to have this agendized to see a presentation on what was explained to us by the gentleman?
I concur with Bill. I'd like to see staff report back on this first before we open a presentation. So if we can do that, and then following that, get a presentation.
I feel that way as well. So I think that's pretty much a consensus is where we're going to start with that.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Would be, just to be clarify, would be more information from our staff based on your request and your use, so that we can then discuss that at the next, a future meeting. I'm not sure when that'll be.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Jennifer Morgan.
Know if I need to move this, but I just wanted to speak on behalf of the 28th DAA board and the CEO, as that is who I am. That we did agree and approve to entertain the proposal that they have, that they do want to put forth to you. I just wanted to be here as supporters of that and also let you guys know that he does have the full approval of our board and myself to see how far we can move forward with this opportunity.
Thank you for your comments.
There are no additional in-chamber speakers.
Any speakers online?
There are none.
Thank you. Then with that, I'll close the general public comments hearing. Next up, we have approval of prior meeting minutes. Those meetings would be from July 13th, 2022 and August 10th, 2022.
I move approval of the minutes.
I second.
I have a first by Commissioner Thomas, a second by Commissioner Messin. Take a roll call vote. Commissioner Cook Askins.
Aye.
Commissioner Messin.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Chair Kurth.
Aye.
Motion passes with Vice Chair Harriman being absent.
Thank you. That brings us to our public hearing items. Agenda item number 2, staff report, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the commission. Agenda item number 2 is case number PLAN 21-00019. It is a site plan, multiple conditional use permits, and a tentative parcel map with an initial study and a mitigated negative declaration to allow for the development of a fueling station with alcohol sales and an accessory car wash, 2 drive-through restaurants, and a hotel, as well as a subdivision of 2 existing parcels into 6 parcels on property zoned C1 Neighborhood Service and R1 Single Family Residential, located at the southeast corner of US Highway 385 and Dos Palmas Road. This item contains multiple components, including a site plan to guide the overall development of the site, 4 separate conditional use permits requesting approval of fuel dispensing facility, an automated car wash that is accessory to the fuel dispensing facility, alcohol sales that are also accessory to the fuel dispensing facility, and a hotel. Additionally, a parcel map is included to subdivide the underlying 2 properties into 6 parcels. Given the scope of the project, I will begin with the site plan and then move into the individual conditional use permit portions to give you an overview of the project. The project site is 8 gross acres, approximately, with 5 commercial buildings being proposed. These will accommodate the fuel dispensing facility, the accessory car wash, 2 drive-through restaurants, and a 112 unit hotel, totaling over 82,000 square feet of building area. As noted, the underlying site is commercial C1, which is neighborhood service, and is surrounded on 3 sides by circulation element, arterial and super arterial roadways, including Dos Palmas Road to the north, Cantina Drive to the east, and US Highway 385 to the west. The R1 single family residential component is not included in the commercial area where the site plan is covered. Development in the commercial site is proposed in a single phase and will be required to install full street improvements abutting the site, as well as a relocation of overhead utility lines underground. As conditioned, the project complies with all typical development standards of the C1 zone district, including lot coverage, landscaping in excess of Title 16 standards, setbacks, and required parking with a surplus of 15 spaces included in the proposal. Building height also generally complies with Title 16 standards, with all buildings less than 35 feet in height, excepting for the proposed hotel. The proposed hotel height of 55 feet is allowable by the Planning Commission pursuant to allowances provided by the general plan that would permit up to 120 feet in height within commercial zones if approved by the Planning Commission. Regarding height, given the site's location at an arterial roadway, which is Cantina Drive, a revised orientation of the building, which has been revised with rooms facing north and south to avoid views and reduce views from neighboring residential properties, and a setback of over 75 feet from Cantina Drive. Staff does not oppose the proposed design of the hotel. It should also be noted that the height is proposed to include a parapet, wall, and provide screening of rooftop equipment, as well as architectural features and designs of the building, with the height of the 4th story windows actually being located at approximately 35 feet in height. The project as a whole is also conditioned to require trash receptacles throughout the site, as well as other conditions of approval to ensure a clean and well-maintained commercial center, including such things as landscape maintenance and overall maintenance of the site. The project as proposed complies with the commercial design guidelines with an architectural design that is coordinated throughout the site with multiple colors and material changes and a design theme of a modern design. Moving on to the conditional use permits. With regards to the conditional use permit for the fuel dispensing facility, the proposal generally complies with Planning Commission Policy PCP-21-001. As it is the only facility at the subject intersection and is supported by a market analysis. While there is residential development west of the site within 300 feet, the subject residences are separated by US Highway 395 that creates similar, if not more, impacts to residents with regards to noise and odor. Regarding alcohol sales, the proposal is limited to beer and wine only, given the location of residential property within 600 feet of the site. The project is also located in a census tract that is not over-concentrated pursuant to alcohol beverage control standards and is conditioned to comply with all Title 16 standards, including limited signage, lighting, site lighting, and limited display area. Regarding the car wash, the proposed automated car wash is designed as accessory to the fuel dispensing facility and generally complies with planning commission policies as it is over 1,000 feet from another car wash and is also supported by a market study. It is also within 300 feet of residences. However, as previously noted, the subject residences are separated by Highway 385 and the subject car wash is located behind the proposed fuel dispensing facility in a manner to reduce noise and impacts of residences. There's also conditions of approval included should the item be approved that would limit the operating hours of the car wash to daytime hours to reduce impacts to residences in the vicinity. The last conditional use permit we have in this proposal is for the hotel itself. The proposed 112 unit hotel is also supported by a market study. Will also be the first hotel located along the 395 corridor within the city of Victorville. This portion of the proposal and the hotel itself includes multiple amenities, including an indoor pool, a gym, a restaurant, and a meeting room, and is intended to be a Comfort Suites branded hotel. The last action in this proposal is the tentative parcel map. This will subdivide the existing 2 parcels, which currently total approximately 14.6 acres, into 5 parcels and a remainder parcel, with the remainder parcel separating the residentially zoned area of the site into its own parcel, where no development is proposed at this time. The reason it has to be a remainder parcel is because tentative parcel maps, unless they are completely commercial in nature, are limited to 5 parcels. The Planning Commission also received a late addition memo on this project via email, and there are some public comments that have been provided to you as well. These are public comments that are both in support of and in opposition to the project. Regarding the environmental review of the project, staff undertook an initial study and prepared a mitigated negative declaration in accordance with CEQA. This resulted in site plan conditions of approval 39 through 74, with mitigation measures for air quality, biological resources, cultural and tribal cultural resources, geology and soils, greenhouse gas, and noise, which would bring any project impacts to a level of less than significant. Also included in the late edition memo that was emailed to the Planning Commission was an economic analysis provided by the applicant and their contractor that notes the jobs created and revenue and tax revenue that will be provided by the proposed project. That being said, staff recommends that the Planning Commission conduct a public hearing, receive testimony regarding the proposed project, and take the following actions. Adopt the attached mitigated negative declaration with a mitigation monitoring and reporting program for the project, and adopt resolution number P-22-036, approving the site plan portion of case number PLAN 21-00019, subject to the attached conditions of approval, and adopt resolution number P-22-037, approving the fuel dispensing facility conditional use permit portion of case number PLAN 21-00019, subject to the attached conditions of approval, and adopt resolution number P-22-038, approving the accessory automated car wash conditional use permit portion of case number PLAN 21-00019, subject to the attached conditions of approval, And adopt resolution number P 22 039, approving the accessory alcohol sales conditional use permit portion of case number PLAN 21 00019, subject to the attached conditions of approval. And adopt resolution number P 22 040, approving the hotel conditional use permit portion of case number PLAN 21 00019, subject to the attached conditions of approval. And lastly, adopt resolution number P 22 041, approving the tentative parcel map portion of case number PLAN 21 00019, subject to the attached conditions of approval. Staff remains available for any questions you may have, and staff would also note that the applicant, if the planning commission so desires, has prepared a presentation to further highlight some of the aspects of this project.
Thank you, Mr. Haragi. Any questions for staff at this time?
I actually have a few. So I just wanted to verify, C1 is generally zoned for projects such as the one that's proposed to us. And traditionally the hotels in the city are in the same zoned area.
I believe we have hotels in C1 zones and C2 zones. Regarding the general plan, yes, they are typically in commercial zones, commercial general plan designated areas. The C1 and C2 are the two different types of zoning that would be included. Neighborhood service is C1 and C2 is general commercial. So we do have them located in both zones throughout the city.
And then I noticed that Caltrans had mentioned driveway A and B. B is gonna have the right turn in, turn out only. I don't know if there's a sign that's gonna be posted there that says no left turn, but if the project's approved, I think that would be ideal. And I noticed that they did recommend that the driveway A be removed. I just wanted to ask if they approved the engineer conditions to keep that there.
The applicant may be able to clarify. I don't believe they've been through final approval with Caltrans yet. The project is conditioned that the traffic impact study, all requirements of that be implemented in the project, which would include as approved by the city of Victorville and ultimately as approved by Caltrans as well.
Thank you, that's all.
I noticed that Cantina would be widened to accommodate this project. I know it's a dead end up in there somewhere up there close, so it would be opened up, and so that would be would it still be a two lane street, or is it?
So Cantina right now does not connect north to Dos Palmas. However, it is a circulation element arterial roadway. I believe that's 2 lanes in each direction, ultimate width with turn pockets as needed. However, yes, there would be improvements to that in Dos Palmas. There would be a connection from Cantina all the way to Dos Palmas at this point with this project.
Just a couple questions for staff. In regards to the notices being sent out to the distant property owners, how many of those were sent out? If you know offhand.
Yes, absolutely. So there were 115 radius letters mailed, and that's to all property owners within a 300-foot radius of the project as measured from property lines.
And I had the same question about the Katina Drive heading south, as that was going to be improved, but that's already been mentioned. And then there was mention of some phone calls in the staff report. Do we know how many phone calls were received?
Yes, it was one phone call. We received one phone call that was in opposition. And then we received, prior to the hearing, we received one letter, received another letter this week. So we received 2 opposition letters, and then we have also received 1 letter of support.
All right, then my final question, has that property always been zoned C1 and C2?
Yeah, at a minimum from the last general plan update we did approximately around 2007, I believe, 2007 to 2008, it's been commercial.
Alrighty, thank you.
Okay, then with that, I'm going to open up the public hearing for public comments on this item. And first, we will start with the development team. I understand that you guys may have a PowerPoint presentation that you want to fire up for us. Is that true? Okay, then I would like to get a motion and any kind of approval for the council to move forward for them to be able to do their own PowerPoint for us. And can you also give us a time estimate of how long your presentation would be? 5 minutes? Okay, so what I'd like to do then, just to be on the formal side and to follow a little more of the city council standards on issues like this, I would like to make the motion to allow this applicant to give us a PowerPoint presentation with a time limit of 5 minutes.
I second that motion.
I have a first by Chair Kurth, a second by Commissioner Cook Askins. Take a roll call vote. Commissioner Cook Askins.
Aye.
Commissioner Messin.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Chair Kurth.
Aye.
Motion passes with Vice Chair Herman being absent.
Thank you. I'd like to welcome the development team with their presentation. And then after that, we will be, opening up or continue on with other comments or any other comments from the general public after the presentation.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon, all the planning commissioners and city staff. Myself, Sumit Brahmbhatt, I'm the project architect as well as I'm representing the owners at this time, representing the applicants. We want to just give you a quick context of the project and in general the idea of what we are proposing here, as well as some overview of the project from the owner side briefly, and to help you make the right decision and help the project and help the development. You have heard the staff report. It's pretty accurate, and we completely agree with that. We have started this project about 18-19 months ago, and today we are with you. And during that time, staff has done an amazing job. We have worked with many city planners, but we are lucky to have Alex and Scott, Freddie. I mean, all amazing people here. They have helped us throughout the project with every minute detail, as well as considering the sensitivity of the neighborhood of this project, and helped get us the best site plan and best development we can have here. So we thank staff a lot for all the help we have received so far. To start with the presentation, staff has given a lot of information about the project, but I would like to give a quick context of the project. As you can see, on the east side, we have Eagle Ranch development. Just one stretch of the PUD is touching our project, and we are separated by a Cantina Road, Cantina Drive. On the east side, on the west side, we have Vista Verde neighborhood, which is a fully developed neighborhood, but there is 395 freeway kind of separating our project. As part of the project, through the Caltrans preliminary review, we have been given some comments. Our consultants are working. We are developing the intersection completely with the signalized entire new intersection. So that's going to be developed as part of the project. You have heard enough about the project details, so I won't go a lot into those items, but we want to inform that the fuel dispensing is going to be mobile gas station. The hotel is Choice Hotel Group, bringing their Comfort Suites hotel there. And the owner is in process of talking with some national restaurant franchises for the other two parcels, phase 1B that you can see on the southeast corner. We cannot disclose the tenants yet, as we haven't signed any contracts, but signed any franchise yet, but the ownership is in process of talking with them. So so that's the phase 1B of the project. Quickly giving the fuel station key features. It's complying with the city's ordinance for the new fueling station guideline. In addition, owner is very mindful of environmental impact of fuel stations. So we are proposing 24 EV charging station at this time, and it has adaptability to convert this into future fully EV charging station also. So it's not just fuel station, you know, we are considering the future where we are going. So that's there. Owner is also mindful of the building being most energy efficient. So we have considered those also in our proposals. With staff, we have prepared high quality architecture for all the buildings that we are proposing here. Going to the hotel. Hotel being proposed here is Comfort Suites, dual brand. It's a top brand of Choice Hotel Group. It is one of its kind. It has indoor swimming pool. There are hardly couple of hotels in the city which has indoor swimming pool. We have meeting halls for guests and for the community also. There's a full service restaurant, gymnasium too in this hotel. We are proposing EV charging for the hotel also, and this hotel building is going to be 33% plus energy efficient than any similar kind of hotel building. So again, owner is very mindful of making all these projects energy efficient, you know. So we have some more renderings of the hotel interior. It's not any mom and pop motel or hotel. This is like a national franchise hotel. You can see the interiors. It's a well-designed prototype from Choice Hotel Group that we are proposing. So it's really one of the best hotel city gonna see it from exterior to interior. We also have regional vice president of Choice Hotel Group, in case if you have any question for them, present in the chamber. So feel free if you have any question for the hotel. We have been mindful of the neighbors on east side, as you can see in our some renderings that we have prepared. We are showing two nearest residences and views they're gonna get. We are proposing fully grown trees, shoestring acacia and Argentine mosquite. Those are the trees we are trying to put there to screen the hotel from the residential neighborhood to kind of mitigate any noise or any light or any other impact to the nearby residents. As you can see, and we have also distributed economic benefit package from this project and feasibility studies of this project to the staff and the planning commissions in a way that city is going to have huge economic benefits from this project, from the job, from the tax revenue and many other avenues too. We won't go to those details. You have that report with you. So that's pretty much mostly about the project. Lastly, about the owners and design team. Owner have 30+ years of experience with managing hotel and retail businesses. As a design team, we also have plenty of experience. So we want to make sure that this project successfully happen. Owner is financially strong and willing to make every efforts to make this project feasible as soon as possible. So with that, I would conclude my presentation. One thing I would mention is we have owner representative also, in case if you have any question for the owners. We have our environmental consultants also present in the chamber if you have any question related to that. We have our traffic consultants also present if you have any question for them. We have mobile and hotel ownership, the franchise representation also present here if you have any question for them. I'll reserve my time in case if there is any left, but to answer any question you may have. Thank you so much.
Thank you for that information. Does any of the commissioners have any questions at this time for any of the development team that's here?
So I have two questions and a comment, so I'm not sure who it would be directed to, but I did see that the initial market review analysis mentions a 200-room hotel, and this is for 210. So I was just curious if this is based off expected growth in the coming years, since the nearby hotels aren't that big and they don't ever reach capacity.
Good, very, very good question. Actually, we are proposing 112 rooms. So it's 112 rooms and it's a dual brand. So it's like a Comfort Suites and Mainstay Inn. So it's kind of serving two different type of guest needs. You know, when owner proposed this project at this location, we didn't know that this belongs to City of Victorville. You know, everything we know is along 15 freeway, all the development, all the restaurants, good hotels, everything is there. Nothing along 395 or that side. So you're right, there is a huge demand on that side to serve the community as well as the transient traffic for 395. And this project will just help, just a drop in bucket. As you can see in the feasibility report, there is a huge need, but this is what being proposed right now, 112 rooms.
And then as far as Caltrans, the submission of driveway A, and then I just wanted to know if there's going to be any issues with any projected projects from Caltrans on 395 while this is going on. I don't know if that's been asked or if they've mentioned it, but I do hope that it's being considered when those conversations are happening.
Again, I would defer that answer to our traffic consultants, but we have been talking a lot back and forth with Caltrans, and they are experts. I mean, they have been dealing with Caltrans on pretty much a lot of projects within the city. So we are considering any and all comments we get from Caltrans. Yes.
And then I did just want to make a comment on the landscaping. I do think it's done very nicely to make it aesthetically pleasing for the neighborhoods and the surrounding area, people driving through. So I do want to compliment your team on that. It is very appealing to the eye. I did a lot of research looking up the different plants and trees that are going to be implemented, and there's a lot. So I appreciate that aspect of it.
Thank you. And again, we won't take the credit. City staff gets equal credit. They helped a lot. So thank you.
Thank you.
A question, for the two, you said there was going to be the Comfort Suite and then the Mainstay. Now is that one or is it separate or?
A good question. It's one building and it's going to be having one check-in or lobby, but the room types are different, you know, so it's just one building, but it's a dual brand.
Okay, and then kind of follow-up question to that. As far as the selection process for the hotel brand, how did that come about?
Personally, we are the architects. Owner made that decision, and 2-3 things I would say, but so we have feasibility report proposing certain kind of hotel brand, number one, and number two is with that proposed brand, always in the hotel industry, you cannot have the same flag next to the same brand, you know, you need to have certain distances. So there is no other Comfort Suites in the neighborhood, as well as what owner proposed is unique to certain radius. So that's how I believe they may have agreed to this specific brand. But again, its final call was from owners, not us.
Okay, thank you.
And I kind of have a real world concern with the truck traffic on 395. And I'm concerned about it filtering into Cantina or it's just a concern because I know that truck drivers like to pull over and and have places to stay too. But I am concerned about them making that turn and going down to Cantina.
So again, a very good question. In a way, we spent a lot of time back and forth making our internal circulation as well as the exterior circulation with the staff and came to this design. We are still having some comments, as conditions right now. So about Cantina, that what we have, we are being conditioned to have 90 feet wide Cantina Drive. So we are kind of, as part of this project, dedicating 49 feet of east side being dedicated to the street. So it's a it's a lot of land that being dedicated. So we are trying to comply with all the expectations and conditions we have been given. Cantina is going to be connected. So it's of course going to be better than how it is right now. It's going to be fully developed. And as far as the truck drivers are concerned, so, if you look at the site plan, we have in and out first, but near the fueling station, we have only right in. So I doubt a lot of trucks gonna be making that right because it's not for trucks, it's for the cars. And we are having two dedicated, I think, right and left also as part of the intersection improvement. So in general, this project will help this intersection better than how it is today.
Staff.
And if I can, real quickly, my name is Rob Kilpatrick with David Evans and Associates. I'm the traffic engineer for the project. It kind of goes to a question, to answer your question about trucks. What occurred to me is when we designed this, there'll be no parking on Cantina nor Dos Palmas. And I'm realizing it wouldn't hurt, probably add a condition of approval to post no parking signs on those two streets, because, large no parking signs, because that probably would be an issue, especially with the dirt road at Dos Palmas. The trucks will want to park there. So I think we can add a condition to satisfy that concern that you and the residents may have about trucks parking on Cantina and Dos Palmas. We can post no parking signs. That makes sense, Brian?
Yeah, I concur with that recommendation.
If I can, real quick about your question about Caltrans. Yes, we have been in conversations with Caltrans. It is a challenge working with Caltrans, as you know. We do have approvals for those driveways, the tentative approvals. However, when we go through the permit process, yes, that could be an issue. I have a quick saying, as far as Caltrans is concerned, the safest driveway is no driveway at all. So it is an issue that they don't like driveways, but there's also that balance between providing access to commercial properties and the driveways. So if we're confident we can get the driveways approved, we're also putting a median in 395 to make sure that vehicles don't make the left turn from that driveway on 395 on, to a southbound direction. Okay, welcome.
I had one question for staff. In the presentation, it talked about a screening buffer of fully grown trees between the hotel and Cantina, those couple of homes that but the end of the street there. I didn't look into which condition it would be, but under the hotel conditions, is that in there under the landscaping that those trees would be fully grown trees at the inception of the project?
They are proposed as 24 inch box trees, which is not fully grown, but they're larger than typical 15-gallon smaller trees.
What, on a 24-inch box? Knowing that the applicant, I'm sure, wants to have the trees, and eventually they will get big, but when those trees go in, and the project's, signed off, what would your guesstimation be of the height of those trees?
So
The 24-inch box trees going in?
So these trees, when they are fully grown, they grow up to 40 feet and have about 20 to 25 feet foliage surrounding. At 24 by 24 box is not going to be more than 8 or 9 feet tall, but if needed, we can have that condition and have the fully grown trees be planted there.
Yeah, I just saw in your proposal, it said fully grown trees are proposed to help with the buffer, and I'm sure all of the landscaping over the next 20 years will be fully grown, but for right now with those couple of homes, I wonder if there's anything we could do within reason that would make it a little bit, and it's probably not going to be like the picture right away. That would be huge.
Yes,
too, but to add a little more screening for those people that are close right on the end of Cantina right there.
absolutely, absolutely, yes. Yes.
Would that maybe be, if we're going to do something like that, I'd like to see it, made clear in a condition, kind of like you did with the parking, no parking signs. Would that be a commitment to the size?
Mr. Chair, yes, we could absolutely update the landscaping condition of approval and or add a new condition of approval. Typically what we've seen in projects where we look for screening next to residential, we've done 36-inch box, so the next size up from what our code requires, and those usually put trees instead of the 8 to 10 to sometimes a 12-foot range to start, and they're quicker to grow because they're already further along.
And if those are typically around 12 feet, and I'm thinking if there's somebody in their backyard with a 6-foot fence and they're on the other side of their backyard, those 12-foot trees are going to block quite a bit, I would think. Is that something that you or your team would be acceptable to, upgrading just along those two views of resident A and B?
Definitely along the hotel, east side,
Along Cantina?
along Cantina, yes.
Correct. Yes, that would be something that could be absolutely added as a condition.
Just enough to block where those the existing two homes are. Okay. Okay, any other?
I do have a question. So customers leaving the gas station would exit out on Dos Palmas,
That is correct, yes.
so they can come in on 395. They can make a right turn in, but Dos Palmas is the only way out. Okay. Now, are you proposing? I heard someone say earlier a traffic signal somewhere. Would that be on Cantina? I know Dos Palmas has a signal already.
At Cantina, I believe we have a stop sign. Not signal, but I would, no signal, yeah, just stop sign, yeah.
I think I agree with the method of getting back on the 395 because that traffic can get pretty fast for anybody coming out there. So, thank you.
I did have one more for staff, just based off what the chair said. I know it's mentioned in the comments that a recommended reduction is an option. I thought it would be just good to entertain what that would look like if it was reduced in height. What would that height limit be?
Yes, in regards to the recommendation, there was a note there if the planning commission chose not to approve the additional height over 35 feet, giving options to reduce impacts on neighboring residents, which were noted as a potential to reduce the height and or add a block wall along the eastern frontage of the hotel property. Essentially, that would set a block wall 10 feet back with landscaping and put a block wall to screen the parking area, although it wouldn't screen the hotel, obviously, at that height. So that would, in essence, require the hotel to be dropped in height from the 55 that's solely at the discretion of the planning commission, or the 35 feet, which is permitted by right in the C1 zone. I would know that the applicant has a lot of reservations about reducing height and being able to maintain the tenant that they've or the brand that they've been able to work with thus far. So they're hoping to maintain the 55 feet.
I have a follow-up question to that. If the height was dropped, would that drop the occupancy for the 112 rooms? Would that drop down?
Yes, it would. I don't have the floor plan pulled up in front of me at the moment, but yes, it would drop approximately a third. I don't believe there's any rooms or there's limited rooms on the first floor. So it would drop it approximately a third of the total room count if the fourth floor were reduced or removed.
All right, thank you.
Okay, I think we're good for now. There may be another question a little bit later, but thank you for that information.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
And do we have speaker card public comment?
We have none.
Any online?
Yes, our first speaker via Zoom is Jonathan P.
Yes, hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Fantastic. My name is Jonathan Pollock and I'm a resident of Victorville and a resident of the neighborhood that's right next to where this development is going to take place. And I'm here to voice my support of the project.
Thank you.
There are no additional speakers.
Okay, then with that, I will close the public comments and public hearing portion. And I will bring it back to the commission for any further questions, deliberation, and ultimately a motion. And before we did that, I just wanted to clarify one thing. I believe it would have been under the conditional use permit resolution for the alcohol sales. Just to reinstate, all of our typical conditions for other fuel stations, alcohol sales are in there, such as the single serve, window advertising, percentage of floor space. All of those typicals are included in this, right?
That is correct, as well as conditions that planning commission has historically included, such as restrictions on adult oriented material, things of that nature as well.
Okay, thank you. I have no other questions.
So I move to approve the project with the additional conditions for traffic and the landscaping.
Is there a second?
If I could just to elaborate on the two conditions, based on the record, I'm hearing that an additional condition would be added to the site plan requiring no parking signs within the public right of way per the city engineer's discretion. And then also adding 36-inch box trees along the cantina frontage.
I'm okay with that verbiage if the rest of the commission is. Thank you.
I'll second the motion.
I have a first by Commissioner Messin, a second by Commissioner Thomas. Take a roll call vote. Commissioner Cook Askins,
Aye.
Commissioner Messin,
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas, Chair Kurth.
Aye.
Motion passes with Vice Chair Harriman being absent.
That project has been approved through the planning commission. We wish you best of luck on that. It's a good looking project. Thank you. So that's it for the public hearing items. We'll wrap it up with any reports from commission members. We'll start with Commissioner Thomas. Anything?
No, I'd like to thank the developers and the project proposers for providing this. This was very helpful. Looking at the plans that we get, they're so small, you can't make it out, but this is great. Thank you.
Commissioner Cook Askins.
Yeah, I concur. The presentation was great, very informative. It actually answered quite a few questions that I had jotted down that were in the presentation. So thank you. And also thank you to Mr. Webb and the staff for all your work.
Commissioner Messin.
Same as well, thank you to the applicant and also staff for the project and working together. And as I mentioned to Scott earlier, I had the chance to attend a planning commission training, and I just wanted to tell the rest of the commission, Bill was there as well, that it was very informative. So I'm appreciative that that was offered.
Any comments or updates from staff members?
I just wanted to let everybody know that our annual Fall Festival is back on October 1st. Hope to see you all out there.
Great, thanks. All right, thank you, everyone. With that, I'll call this meeting adjourned.